You're listening to Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. NFL, NBA news, and more coming to you right now. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. So you're going to have to excuse my voice at the moment. I have COVID right now, so my voice is not working as well as it should be. I'm fine. It's all good. It's just like a cold for me. My symptoms haven't been too severe. So, yeah, at the moment, that's what I'm in. So, the rundown for this week. So, I've got last week's storylines, this week in sports history, my mock draft, news, and NBA playoff update. So, last week's storylines. Debo wants out of the 49ers. Even though I think that he's going to stay, I think that he's just deciding, hey, I just want to get paid more. And currently the 49ers don't have that cap space available because they've still got Jimmy G on their cap. So they need to get rid of Jimmy G, and then once they've done that, they can pay Debo. But I don't know who wants Jimmy G. Are they going to cut him? I don't know what's going on with the 49ers. Because they're a good team, but yet they've got a quarterback on there that they clearly don't want. TB12 redid his contract, so he will be a free agent next year. So does that lead to, is he going to go to the Dolphins? Or is he going to retire? Yeah. Now with the contract redone, I'm definitely going to try and make the trip over to the US to go see him play at least once. That's just in my, I just want to go see him play once and then I'll be happy. NFL draft is this week. I'm so looking forward to it. It's one of my favorite days of the year because the unknown, and it really is like the beginning of the NFL season. And it's made me realize how much I've missed the NFL and football in general. Every little bit of NFL content, I'm just like, please, just, give it to me. I will be going through my mock draft later in this episode. Ben Simmons is officially out for Game 4 as the Brooklyn Nets look to get swept. These playoffs, especially in the East, especially in the West, have been awesome. And have the Warriors found their secret sauce for the next 5 years to extend their championship window with Jordan Poole? I think they have. I think they genuinely have. The Warriors are the prohibited favourites now to win the NBA title. And I think that it's going to be this year, but I think that they've extended the championship window for another 5 years. Because if Jordan Poole can play as well as what he's been playing during this playoffs, with Steph coming off the bench... Okay, can we all just praise Steph Curry for a second? Because he is coming off the bench and producing. Name another super duper duper star that ego would be able to handle that. And I just want to acknowledge the love for Steve Kerr as well, because Steve Kerr has genuinely made that all work. Like, there's no ego involved in that team. And even when KD was there was no ego involved. And I think that Steve Kerr needs to be put up there with one of the greatest coaches of all time. Because the way that he can just manage the egos is incredible. Devin Booker is out for 2 to 3 weeks. Does this mean that the Suns' season is over? I think it does. I think the Suns are in trouble. I think the Pelicans are going to win this series now. And that doesn't bring me any joy. But I feel sorry for Devin Booker. I feel sorry for CP3. I just feel sorry for the Suns fans because it's just like one thing after another after another. And in some MLB storylines, the Yankee offense is finally clicking. They're finally getting together with a huge sweep over the Cleveland Guardians over the weekend. Yankee fans embarrass themselves by throwing trash onto the field. I understand. But, this Yankee offense is finally starting to click. So they might actually genuinely be a really good team this year. And I'm excited to see how they play. And the Cubs score 21 home runs on the Pirates. Yep, the Pirates suck. And that's me as a casual baseball fan saying that the Pirates suck. This week in sports history, for the second in 1985, for the second time, Wayne Gretzky scores 7 points in a cup game. 3 goals and 4 assists. Now, I don't understand the whole point system in hockey. Someone's going to have to explain it to me. I've tried to look it up and it just doesn't really mesh with me. I've got no idea how it works. So if somebody could explain it to me, that would be fantastic. But yeah, Wayne Gretzky, one of the goats. He's a humble goat. A humble farmer animal who's got zero personality on TV. If you've ever watched him, you're like, he's got no personality. So here is my mock draft. Just let me get it up and loaded because it's on a different spreadsheet. So I've got for the number 1 pick, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now I didn't do any trades in this one. I will be doing another one tonight, and it will be up on my Instagram and on my Twitter, which will all be linked in my bio below, which will all be linked in the description, to do my 2.0. This is my 1.0. The Jacksonville Jaguars select with the number 1 overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson, edge from Michigan. Number 2 overall pick, the Detroit Lions will select quarterback Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be the first quarterback to go because I think that he has more potential upside than the rest. The Houston Texans with the 3rd overall pick will be selecting Trayvon Walker, edge, Georgia. And with the 4th overall pick, the New York Jets will be selecting Ahmed Gardner, aka Sauce Gardner, cornerback, Cincinnati. The New York Giants with the 5th overall pick will be selecting Evan Neal, offensive tackle from Alabama. With the 6th overall pick, the 2nd quarterback gone in the first round, the Carolina Panthers will select quarterback Malik Willis from Liberty. The 7th overall pick for the New York Giants will select Kayvon Thibodeau, edge, Oregon. 8th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons will be selecting Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. With the 9th overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks will be selecting Ime Udoka, I think that's how you spell it, Ikem Udoka, offensive tackle, NC State. With the 10th overall pick, the New York Jets will be selecting Drake London, wide receiver, USC. With the 11th overall pick, the Washington Commanders will be selecting Kyle Hamilton, safety, Notre Dame. With the 12th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings will be selecting Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback, LSU. With the 13th overall pick, the Houston Texans will be selecting Charlie Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State. With the 14th overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens will be selecting Jermaine Johnson, edge, Florida State. With the 15th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles will be selecting Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State. With the 16th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints will be selecting Desmond Ridder, quarterback, Cincinnati. With the 17th overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers will be selecting Jordan Davis, IDL, from Georgia. Sorry, I just needed to cough for a second. With the 18th overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers will be selecting offensive tackle Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. Select the New Orleans Saints with the number 19 overall pick will be selecting IDL Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. With the 20th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be selecting Zion Johnson, IOL, from Boston College. With the 21st overall pick, the New England Patriots will be selecting Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback, Clemson. With the 22nd overall pick, the Green Bay Packers will be selecting Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. With the 23rd overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals will be selecting Trent McDuffie, cornerback, Washington. With the 24th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys will be selecting edge George Kalafis from Purdue. With the 25th overall pick, the Buffalo Bills will be selecting Kimi Elam, cornerback, from Florida. With the 26th overall pick, the Tennessee Titans will be selecting Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from Penn State. With the 27th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be selecting Daxton Hill, safety from Michigan. With the 28th overall pick, the Packers will be selecting edge Boyd Maffey from Minnesota. With the 29th and 30th overall pick, because they've got both of them, the Kansas City Chiefs will be selecting first Treylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas. Then they'll be selecting running back Bryce Hall at Iowa State. The Cincinnati Bengals, with the 31st overall pick, will be selecting Kenyon Green, IOL, Texas A&M. And to round out the first round of the draft, the Detroit Lions will be selecting, with the 32nd overall pick, the Detroit Lions will be selecting David Aboku, edge from Michigan. So that is my mock draft 1.0. I might actually also do an upload explaining my 2.0 tomorrow, so look for that. News. Volunteer minicamps have started in the NFL. So excited. I love this time of year because it's just so much hope in the air. Even though I know that my team's going to suck next year, I just have so much hope. The NFL is set to play games on Christmas Day. So that came out earlier last week. So that means that the schedule's coming soon. I'm happy. And in some draft news, Jacksonville has not solidified who they're going to pick for the number one. Aiden Hutchinson is definitely going to be that guy. And in some NBA news, Alex Caruso exits the Bulls game with a facial injury. Scotty Barnes wins Rookie of the Year. Marcus Smart wins Defensive Player of the Year. And Ja Morant has won Most Improved Player of the Year in the NBA. So, some playoff updates. The Suns are 2 against the New Orleans Pelicans 2. So they're all tied up. The Dallas-Utah series is all tied up. GWS is up 3-1 against Denver. Memphis and Minnesota are all tied up, and the Minnesota Timberwolves security is doing a great job keeping those protesters off the court and trying to actually make this game a lot more enjoyable to watch. And in the East, Miami are 3-1 up on Atlanta. Philly are up 3-1 up on Toronto. Milwaukee is up 3-1 up against Chicago, and the Boston Celtics are about to sweep the Nets 3-0. So that is all for this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. So I'll catch you all next week, and I'll also be putting up a draft reaction as well, and also a mock draft 2.0 this week. So catch you all next week. Bye.